Greetings, parents. My name is Derrick Brown. I'm known as Coach Derrick Brown to my students. I teach math in the Marietta Performance Learning Center. That's a program of Marietta High School that's housed at the Woods Wilkins campus over on Lemon Street. I'm teaching 13 different math courses this semester, ranging from foundations of algebra to pre-calculus to a group of 40 students. How do you do that? Well, I have an approach that I developed long before I came to Marietta, where I teach students, not subjects. Now that key difference allows me to focus on nurturing and encouraging a fellowship, a small group fellowship with my students that builds the type of rapport that then allows me to guide them through their math courses by challenging them to be the best version of themselves every day, especially on the days where they're maybe not feeling like their best self. I try to get them to be as good as they can be every day, and that's why they call me Coach. That approach helps me when I'm teaching this many different classes. Now, what also helps me is these classes are hosted on the Edgenuity platform, where there are videos and digital assessments. Those videos may guide a student through learning how to write a 2-column proof or structuring a loan for a house. Any of those different problem-solving scenarios, the videos guide them through a lot of that. And then what I do is look for the next thing beyond the instruction that they're engaged in digitally, so that they can see these things used in real time, that they get to use these tools in their own mind, with their own hands, through conversation with me. That gets us to the next step of, yes, you've learned how to do it, you've passed the quiz, now what can I do with this math in the real world? Most students do not like math. That's how it was when I was in school. It's probably still like that. So I focus a lot on getting my students to like me, because by the transitive property of relationships, if you like me and I like math, then I got a chance to get you to like math enough to have it be a functional part of your young adult and adult life. And that's going to put us all in a better place as a society. I digress, but not so much. That's a big part of what I do. You're in my classroom, so I'm going to do what I do for my students every day. I'm going to show you something, and I'm going to show you something that lets you see something. Let's go. I will share my screen. And then I will park myself right down here in the corner so that your friendly narrator remains visible to you. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Coach Derrick Brown. I communicate with my parents and students primarily through email, through my Zoom classroom, and through my teacher cell phone, which is a Google Voice number. The beauty of the Google Voice phone number is I get text messages on my computer and can respond to them. That allows me to respond in as many characters as I need to. It allows me to send students screenshots of problems, solutions. It allows them to send me screenshots of problems that they need help with. This helps facilitate, particularly in a digital environment, but this will work equally as well when we are all physically present and face-to-face again as well. My daily schedule is the same all day, every day. There are no A days, there are no B days at the Performance Learning Center. There are only days. First block begins at 9, runs for 55 minutes. Blocks 2 through 4 follow suit. Nice, regular routine. This is what we do. I repeat my Zoom classroom because you'll notice that I have a short address and not the really long ones generated by Zoom. See, our students are engaging in lots and lots of very long links, and they all look exactly the same. So I figured if I shorten mine, it might help with my branding just a little bit, they will know, oh yeah, that's Coach Brown over at the Performance Learning Center. Even if you're not in my class, even if you don't take your classes over on Lemon Street, at least you'll know that we're over there. And that's important. That's important. The Edgenuity Learning Platform, as I mentioned before, is where students will engage a lot of their daily instruction. When they see this screen, when you see this screen, they're in the right place and hopefully have their username and password so that they can launch themselves into the digital math sphere. Let me talk a little bit now about how I do business with my students just a little bit more. I am an electrical engineer. I have electrical engineering degrees from Clemson and Georgia Tech, and that has taken me to a lot of wonderful places in a very long career. I have a 6-year-old daughter who attends Dunleith Elementary School now in the Marietta City Schools District. So I am teaching during her school career so that I can be on her schedule and so that I can focus on mentoring young people, especially the young people in the city of Marietta. I got 2 things that I teach and stress to my students. One is that they have to become proficient. They have to have skills. The other is that they have to be efficient. They have to be able to use those skills in productive and timely ways. Here's how you get there. You become adept at seeing, saying, and showing. You got to be able to visualize. You got to be able to communicate. You got to be able to demonstrate. When you study math, and let's face it, a lot of people don't like math. Most people don't like math. A lot of people don't understand math. There's probably some correlation between the people who don't like it and the people who don't understand it. My job as a lover of math is to let people see that there is a straightforward and clear way to engage and express all of these ideas. And when you can do it that way, math becomes beautiful, folks. Frankly, it becomes beautiful. And it definitely becomes the language of problem solvers. The language of problem solvers. I begin my class with this little vignette that I call the CSA Show. A little play on words. But what the CSA Show is all about is I show my students some type of problem or some type of tool used to solve a problem that hopefully connects to their everyday world. The problem that I'm showing now is a grade book. That's terribly relevant for a high school student. This is a grade book that helps you compute what you need to make on test number 4 in order to finish with a 90 average, which is an A average. This is an example that's not just a real world example, it's an example of a smart goal, a really good goal to have, an achieving kind of goal embedded in this little lesson that I'm teaching about math, because it's not all about math with me, folks. It's not all about math. Let's check out another one. I am what you call a tournament level Scrabble player, and I became good in Scrabble on the day that I realized that Scrabble is really a math game. It's much more of a math game than a word game. And if you get that, then you'll know that you don't have to play 14-letter words to score lots of points. You can play 2-letter words with the right letters and put them in the right place and get to the big money in Scrabble, if you hear what I'm saying. I play so much, I have screenshotted a lot of games from a lot of situations in my career, and I've categorized them all and I bring them to my students. The one you're looking at right now is a 7-letter word that I was able to play at the beginning of a recent game. And I show the students what I saw when the game first started. I don't see a 7-letter word in that scramble. But when I can teach them about combinations and permutations, which are arrangements of objects in space, where the order matters sometimes, where the order doesn't matter sometimes. Those are very mathematical topics that pertain in a relevant way to the game of Scrabble, because what I've got to do in real time in my mind or on my phone screen is I've got to create permutations and combinations of the letters here so that I can play the 7-letter word, because I got to see it, right, before I can show it on the board. I've got to see it. Let's move on. Here's another example, a very relevant and real-world example for our students. This is a model of internet access in a home. It models the internet access in my home very well, because right here under my index finger is my internet router. It's on the floor, and just like in this picture, my house is not on a basement. My house is on a slab. So see all that wonderful internet access that I'm providing to termites, ants, and mosquitoes, and an occasional frog? My garage is over here. I've got wonderful Wi-Fi access in my garage. Where I need it, though, good people, is I need it over here. This is where my wife's office is. This is a very real problem, ripped from recent headlines, that I can model with mathematics. Because this big circle, if you will, if you're thinking in 3 dimensions, that circle is actually a sphere. And the distance from this router, which is at the center of this sphere, to any point on the surface of the sphere is known as the radius. And if I tell you how long that radius is, then I can quantify the square footage or the volume of coverage of this ball. Imagine this as a ball sitting in your house, where every point inside the ball provides good internet access. Every point outside the ball, you may connect, you may disconnect quickly. But being able to talk to my students about this and being able to show it to them allows us to talk about solutions that will provide better internet access to these areas. So that should give you a little flavor for what we do and how we do it. Again, my name is Coach Brown, and I have taken a few minutes here to take you inside our world and show you what class actually looks like. And sometimes our discussions may wrap up in as little as 15 minutes, because our time together doesn't need to be long if the interaction is strong. And I hope you smell what I'm cooking there, folks, because that's the approach that I'm taking. And I'd love for you to come and take a look at it and see its impact on our young people, who I am proud to serve and who I love dearly. I look forward to getting to know all of you, to work with you. You guys take care. Bye-bye.